Imagine the moment Rush finally returned to the stage after more than a decade away. Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson were back under the lights, but behind them stood someone facing an almost impossible challenge. Anika Nilles, the drummer chosen to perform the music of the late Neil Peart. But there was something the crew had to prepare for that had little to do with simply learning the songs. Anika wasn't just another touring drummer, she was stepping into one of the most scrutinized drum seats in rock history. And Rush's crew knew that even the smallest unexpected moment could become a major story once thousands of fans were watching. That pressure became especially important because Nilles approached Peart's material differently from her normal preparation. She explained that she couldn't simply chart everything and play from notation. Instead, she had to break the music into sections, memorize it, and then learn the feeling behind each part. And that created a fascinating possibility. What if Anika suddenly made a musical decision that wasn't exactly what fans expected? Rush couldn't simply tell her to copy every note forever. Nilles herself explained that she carefully decided, song by song, where to stay faithful to Peart and where there was room for her own interpretation. So the crew had to be ready for something nobody could completely script, Anika Nilles being Anika Nilles. And the first real test was coming much sooner than anyone expected. The rehearsal room then had to account for something much bigger than simply getting the notes right. Rush's own announcement made it clear that Nilles was not being treated as a temporary stand-in. Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson said they had been working with Anika and longtime crew members to build the kind of Rush production fans expected, while also leaving room for new musical possibilities. That distinction mattered, because Nilles was making careful decisions about where to reproduce Neil Peart's parts and where to bring more of herself into the performance. She described the process as going song by song, deciding where the original parts needed to remain intact and where improvisation could fit naturally. And that meant the crew couldn't prepare for every musical detail like it was a fixed routine. There had to be flexibility. After all, this was a Rush show built around two legendary musicians returning to the stage after 11 years, with Nilles taking on one of rock's most recognizable drum roles. The tour itself was designed around 2 sets each night, with different songs selected from a 35-song catalog. So if Anika suddenly changed the energy of a section, stretched a phrase, or added something uniquely hers, everyone around the stage had to be ready. But there was another problem. What happens when that unexpected Anika moment isn't planned at all? Because during this tour, the biggest surprise wouldn't necessarily come from the set list. It could come from the drummer herself. And then came the part Rush could never completely control, the audience reaction. Nilles was not only expected to perform technically demanding material, she was performing it in front of fans who knew Neil Peart's playing, almost note for note. Every fill, pause, accent, and transition could be noticed. That made her approach especially important. Nilles said she treated Peart's parts with great respect, but made careful decisions about where she would remain faithful to the originals, and where she could play more freely. And once the tour began, that balance became visible. At Madison Square Garden, reviewers praised Nilles for bringing a fluid, groove-focused quality to the music while still handling Peart's demanding arrangements. Her playing on songs such as Tom Sawyer became one of the show's standout moments. That was exactly the kind of moment the crew had to be prepared for. Not because something had gone wrong, but because something had gone right. If Nilles suddenly locked into a groove differently, extended a musical idea, or gave a familiar section her own personality, the people around her had to respond instantly. The show couldn't feel like three musicians trapped inside a museum piece. Rush had spent months rehearsing and designing the production with Nilles and longtime crew members. But there was still one question hanging over everything. What would happen when Anika stopped simply honoring Neil and started making the stage unmistakably her own? And this is where the story gets even more interesting. The unexpected moment wasn't necessarily a mistake. In fact, Rush had already built the tour around the idea that every night could evolve. The band was performing 2 sets, with different songs selected from a larger catalog, meaning the show itself was designed to have some variation. Anika's role fit naturally into that philosophy. She had spent months learning an enormous amount of material, but she wasn't trying to become a carbon copy of Neil Peart. She explained that she made careful decisions about which parts should remain close to the original recordings and where she could add more of herself. And that freedom could create moments nobody could predict down to the second. That became especially clear when Rush performed at Madison Square Garden. Reviews praised Nilles for maintaining the complexity of Peart's parts while bringing a more fluid, groove-oriented personality to the performances. For the crew, that meant staying alert. The lights, video cues, stage movements, and musical transitions all had to work around a drummer who was interpreting legendary material in real time. But there was something even more important happening. Nilles wasn't simply surviving the pressure. She was proving she could make the music feel alive again. And once that happened, the unexpected Anika moment stopped being something the crew feared. It became something they had to be ready to celebrate. In the end, the moment Rush's crew had to prepare for wasn't some disaster waiting to happen. It was something far more meaningful, Anika Nilles making the role her own. Rush had deliberately built the 50-something shows around flexibility. Lee and Leifson were performing 2 sets each night, drawing from a 35-song catalog, while Nilles was given the enormous responsibility of honoring Neil Peart without pretending to be him. And that approach appears to have worked. Drummer Mike Portnoy, after seeing the tour twice, praised Nilles for handling many of Peart's nuances while still bringing her own style and swing to the music. He also said the audience was clearly rooting for her. That may be the real story behind the unexpected moment. The crew prepared for precision, but Nilles brought personality. They prepared to protect Neil's legacy, but they also had to leave room for a new chapter. And that is exactly what Rush promised from the beginning, a return that honored the past while creating something new. Their official announcement described Nilles as someone adding another chapter to the Rush story. So when that unexpected Anika moment happened, the most important thing wasn't whether she sounded exactly like Neil. It was whether she made the audience believe that Rush still had somewhere new to go. And judging by the reaction so far, she did.